Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today we will learn about the last chapter in AM015 session 2022-2023, which is chapter 7, Mathematics of Finance. What do we learn in this last chapter? Let's see together. So in this last chapter, you will learn about 7.1 simple interest, 7.2 simple discount, 7.3 compound interest, and lastly 7.4 annuity. Therefore, in this last chapter, you will learn about 4 subtopics. First of all, let me show you mind map about chapter 7, Mathematics of Finance. This mind map show you the rough idea about chapter 7 as a whole. Here you can see there are 3 things that you will learn. First of all is simple, second is discount, and third is compound. Under simple, there will be simple interest and simple amount. And these are the respected formula involved in solving simple. Meanwhile, for discount, you will learn about simple discount, proceed, equivalent, R2D. And these are the formula involved in discount. Whereas for compound, you will learn about compound amount, which is without R, and annuity. It is with R. So these are the formula involved in solving compound. So as a whole, this is the rough idea about chapter 7. Now let's look at lecture 1 of 6, 7.1 simple interest. In this lecture 1 of 6, at the end of this lesson, students should be able to A. Determine the simple interest and total amount. B. Determine exact and ordinary interest. C. Solve problem involving period of time, simple interest rate, and principal. Interest. What is interest? Interest is the amount that has to be paid by the borrower to the lender because of the use of capital. Interest can also be defined in 2 ways. Let's look at definition number 1. Interest is money earned when money is invested. For example, you deposited RM1,000 in a bank for a year, and you find that at the end of year 1, you have 1,050 ringgit in your account. The additional amount of 50 ringgit is the interest you earn when you invested 1,000 ringgit. Definition number 2, interest is charge incurred when a loan or credit is obtained. For example, you borrowed 1,000 ringgit from a bank for a year and you paid 1,080 ringgit for the debt at the end of that year. The additional amount of 80 ringgit is the charge or interest you need to pay when you borrow 1,000 ringgit. Hope you will understand and you can differentiate these 2 meaning of interest. Generally, there are 2 types of interest. The first one is simple interest and the second one is compound interest. For compound interest, you will learn in 7.3. Simple interest represented by capital letter I. Simple interest is the interest that is calculated on the original principal for the entire period it is borrowed or invested. It is the product of the principal multiplied by the rate and time. So, this is the formula to calculate interest. I equals to P times R times T. I equals to amount of interest or simple interest, whereas capital letter P referring to the amount of principal, small letter R annual simple interest rate, and small letter T referring to time, and it should be in years. What is capital letter P? Capital letter P is the amount of principal, which is the amount you borrow or the amount you invested in a bank. Now, let's proceed with example 1. Find the simple interest on RM1000 deposited in the bank at 8% per annum for 2 years. Here we have 3 information. The first one is RM1000 deposited. It means that this is our value of P. The next one is we have 8%. This is referring to our R, 0.08. And then we have 2 years, which means this is our T equals to 2. Then the question asks you to find the simple interest. This is the one that we need to find, capital letter I. Next, let's portray all the information on the timeline. So the timeline will be like this. We just have 2 years timeline because the question asks for 2 years only. Our P will be written at today, which is 0. So here is our P, as you can see. And then what it means by R equals to 0.08. This is simple interest rate. That means the meaning of simple interest is the amount of interest is calculated on the original principal only. Since the original principal is put on today, which is 0, so here we will have one loop. This loop is referring to our R equals to 0.08. So we just put only one loop. It will be wrong if you put another loop here and then you write such as R equals to 0.08. So this will be totally wrong because it does not match the definition of simple interest. As you can see, the definition of simple interest is the interest that is calculated on the original principal. Since the original principal is at 0, that means we just have only one loop. So this is our timeline for this question. The question asks for capital letter I. The formula for capital letter I, which is simple interest, is P times R times T. Since we already have all the information, let's put into the formula. P is 1000, R is 0.08, and T is 2. Then just press your calculator, you will get your R is 160. Please remember, simple interest has its own unit, which is RM. So we need to write such that I equals to RM 160 ringgit. This is our final answer. In conclusion, we will say like this. The amount of simple interest that we get for 2 years is RM 160. In other words, we will say that after 1 year, we will get 80 ringgit, and after another 1 year, we will get another 80 ringgit, which means that the amount of interest that we calculated is the same for the next consecutive years throughout the given period. That's why here we can say that from 0 to 1 year, we will get 80 ringgit. Then from 1 year to 2 years, we will get another 80 ringgit. Therefore, in 2 years' time, the total interest that we get is RM 160 ringgit. Next is example 2. Let's read the question first. Aisha invests RM 5000 in an investment fund for 3 years. At the end of the investment period, simple interest earned from her investment is 1,125 ringgit. Find the simple interest rate that is offered. Before we look at the timeline given, let's simplify the information that we have. First, we have 5,000 ringgit. Since here 5,000 ringgit is the one that Aisyah invests, so that means this is our P, principal, equals to 5,000 ringgit. Then here we have 3 years, which is our T, equals to 3. And then the question also gives you the simple interest earned from her investment is 1,125 ringgit. Therefore, this is our capital letter I. Then the question asks you to find the simple interest rate that is offered, which means this is our R, the one that we need to find. From the timeline that I already put here, we have 0, which is today, and then we have 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, since the question gives us for 3 years. So T will be equals to 3. And then the one that we need to find is R. Again, this is simple interest rate. That means we just have only one loop from 0 to 1 year. Now, let's put all the information that we have on the timeline. So here we will write such that on today, which is 0, P equals to 5,000 ringgit. Then we have T, which is equals to 3. Then we have our capital letter I, which is 1,125. And then the one that we need to find is R. Again, our formula for capital letter I is equals to P times R times T. Our I is 1,125. Our P is 5,000. Our R is the one that we need to find, and our T is 3. Simplify the equation, we will get such that R equals to 1,125 divided by 5,000 times 3. Just press your calculator and you will get R equals to 0.075. Please remember, you need to express your R in terms of percentage. So our R will be 7.5%. This is your final answer. Next is example 3. Asri invests RMX in a bank. After 24 months, the simple interest he will earn is 2,430. If the simple interest rate is 8.5% per year, find the value of X. So the value of X is the one that Asri invests, which means that this is our P, the one that we need to find. If you remember, from example 1, we need to find the value of I. For example 2, we need to find the value of R. Then for this example, we need to find the value of P. Okay? So the next information that we have is after 24 months. So this will be our T. 24 months means that in years, it will be 2 years. Please remember, our T must be in years. Okay? The next information that we have is simple interest he will earn is 2,430, which means this value is capital letter I, 2,430. If the simple interest rate is 8.5%, therefore this is our R, 0.085. The one that we need to find is the value of X. So let's portray all the information on the timeline as usual. So this will be our timeline. Here we have 0, 0, and then 1 year, then 2 years. Since the question gives you 24 months, which means in years it should be 2 years. So now let's put all the information on the timeline such that here we have P equals to X, then we have T equals to 2, R as given, which is R equals to 0.085. Please remember, this is simple interest rate, which means that interest is calculated on the original principal. That's why we just have only one loop from 0 to 1 year. The next information is I equals to 2430. The formula that we have is I equals to PRT. Just put all the information inside the formula and we will get that 2430 equals to X, which is our P. Our R is 0.085. Our T is 2. Simplify the equation, we will get such that X equals to 2430 will be divided by 0.085 times 2. Just press your calculator and you will get your X is 14294.12. Please don't forget, principal also has its own unit, which is RM. So we should write such that X equals to RM 14,294 and 12 cents. So this is our final answer for this question. Example 4. Here we have the principal amount of RM1000 was invested at a simple interest rate of 6%. For the first sentence, we have amount of RM1000 and then 6%. After some time, RM225 of simple interest was received. Here we have 225. For how long the money was kept in the account? For how long the money was kept in the account is the one that we need to find. So from the question, we can see that RM1000 is principal. So this is P. Next, we have 6%. Obviously, this is our R, 0.06. Next information is 225 of simple interest was received, which is, this is capital letter I. As you can see, the one that we need to find is how long the money was kept in the account, which means we need to find T. So from the previous examples, we can see the pattern. From the example 1, we need to find the interest. Example 2, we need to find the rate. Example 3, we need to find the principal. This one, we need to find the T, which is time in years. Now, let's portray the information on the timeline. So, this is our timeline. So, here we have 0, we have 1 year, and then this bar shows that some years that are known until T year, the one that we need to find. I randomly put this bar just to acknowledge you guys. There will be some years which are unknown until the T years, the one that we need to find. We don't know yet the value of T. It can be 3, 6, 10 or any values. So I just randomly put this bar. However, if you choose not to put any bar, it's also not a big problem, okay? As long as you understand the whole question. Okay, the information that we have is P. So we should return, or we should write, we should write P is on 0 equals to 1000. Then our R is the one that we have, R equals to 0.06. Our T is the one that we need to find. The next one we have is our capital letter I, which is 225. Again, our formula is I equals to P times R times T. 225 equals to P is 1000. Our R is 0.06 and our T is the one that we need to find. Simplify the equation, you will get such that T equals to 225 over 1000 times 0.06. Just press your calculator and you will get your T is 3.75 years. Or in month, we can express such that 3.75 times 12 will be equals to 45 months. As answer, we can write our answer is 45 months. But in calculation, our T here should be in years. Because in formula, which is I equals to P times R times T, our T here should be in years. Hope you guys understand. Why for this example, we can express our T in month because this is the final answer. But in calculation, our T must be in years. So, in exam, you can write your final answers such that T equals to 3.75 years. Or, you can write T equals to 45 months. Both answers are accepted. Example 5. Here we have find the interest Salma must pay if she borrows Rm3,000 ringgit from a bank at simple interest rate of 8% per year for 5 years. First of all, let's find the information that we have. First, we have 3,000. So this is our P because this is the amount that she borrows. P equals to 3,000. The next one is we have 8%. So this means this is our R, 0.08. Then we have T, which is 5 years. The one that we need to find is the interest, which means the capital letter I. Next, let's portray all the information on the timeline such that we have here 0, which is now or today, and then we have 1 year, and then we write 5 years because the given period is 5 years. So this is the simple timeline. Here we have only one loop since this is simple interest rate. The amount of interest is calculated based on the original principal only. Right? Let's portray the information on the timeline. So first we have P equals to 3,000. Then we have T equals to 5. R equals to 0.08. And I is the one that we need to find. Just put all the information inside the formula. P R T equals to 3,000 times R 0.08 times T is 5. Just press your calculator, then you will get your answer such that 1,200 ringgit. Please remember, interest has its own unit, which is RM. So the final answer will be I equals to RM 1,200 ringgit. This is our final answer. Hope you guys really understand about simple interest rate. Okay?